Greetings, everyone. Greetings and gratitude for taking the time to check out my video. Um, this is Tiffany Martinez. I hope you guys are doing fantastic wherever you are in the world and you're not going through anything that I'm currently going through. So, trigger warning, this is a video about grief and living in a tremendous amount of physical pain on a daily basis, and the grief isn't helping, obviously. People often ask me, I've been wondering how you're doing, Tiffany. You know, call me or blah blah blah. And I feel nothing, like literally nothing in response to that. You know, I have so many sleepless nights, sleepless days, just micro sleeping ever since 11/30, 2021 came about, and I went through years of like insomnia, but it was better, and a lot of people don't. It's kind of comical to me, but a lot of people don't like to hear about Tiffany and Henry and Tiffany. They don't like to hear that. Like, I felt that. I felt that energy when I used to have social medias. Like, I say medias meaning, I didn't have that many to begin with, but I shut them down, because it was just too much. It was just too much, and I won't be going back. So that's a definite. I won't be returning. Um, but I used to feel that, like, from mostly from people, or generally people that I knew and grew up with. I felt that energy, like, you know, I don't want to say the word. Well, you know what I'm thinking. So, or you should know. But it's like I'm generally happy for everyone. It doesn't matter if it's a success thing or they're having a baby or they're going to be a grandmom or a granddad. You know, they're getting married. Whatever, their occasion is. I'm generally happy for anyone. I'm also, I have empathy for them if they're going through something, because I sincerely want the best for everyone. I usually, start my video off like that. Like, I hope you guys are doing fantastic. And that's a real thing, you know, it's a real thing. It's not just me, talking like, oh, she's just saying it. No, I honestly do want the best for you. I still want the best for you. I still promote, my gold and silver for those who are interested in saving in gold. Simply go to www.mrstiffanymartinez.com, and that's M as in Mary, R as in Rachel, S as in Sam. So back to how's Tiffany doing. Tiffany is doing pretty, um, I wouldn't say terrible, but the emotions are usually all over the place, and uh, crying hysterically, you know, um, at the sound of, it could be the sound of the wind. Like, it's pretty bad. Like, uh, I'm still going through a or technically a triple tsunami, but we'll just focus on the two that that's making my humanity switch just be ripped from my soul. 11/30/2021, the love of my life, my only best friend in this entire matrix, aka Henry. And it's sometimes that it still seems not real. it still feels like, oh, it doesn't matter what time it is. Like right now, it's 4:24, and I was like, oh, well, he's just at work. He'll be home by 8. He's never late, and it's Saturday, so he'll probably bring us a little treat. And but then when 8 o'clock comes, sometimes my mind tells me, oh, well, he must have had a meeting after work, and something's going on at the casino, those type things. So and then when 8 o'clock turns into 9 and 10, and by that time, my body is so exhausted, I go to sleep, and I wake up and I think, oh, he's probably in the living room seeing TV. Let me get up and get my little day started, and it's a vicious cycle. It sincerely is. It's a vicious cycle, and so that was 11/30/2021, and then right before the year anniversary came up, I was thinking, oh, I could stand on my own. It's getting a little bit better. Why? Because I still have my mother. And then 11/4/2022 came in like another wrecking ball. Another wrecking ball. My mother transitions on 11/4/2022. So I have 2 fur kids left. Chowdies and, or AKA Chowder, the orange ginger cat. And then I have Luna Bear, because my oldest, Magic, she transitioned this year. And like I said, my little light is blowing out, And this is not a pity video or nothing like that. But like I say, people, they often ask, and I don't know what to tell them other than the truth. And I'm not that cliche, oh, I'm hanging in there. Like, stop saying that, and stop telling others to hang in there, because what am I hanging in there for? I was married to, people use this word loosely, but I literally was hanging, I literally was married to my soulmate. And if you're a spiritual person, you believe more than what the Matrix tells you. Henry and I, we have crossed paths countless of times. I'm talking about in different lifetimes, and we always found each other. We absolutely always found each other, and it's just devastating. It's just devastating. And I used to tell him that, it's not it wouldn't be fun here without you. 21 years. And all of a sudden, 21 years, it's like a heart breaks. Like, how when you're driving a car and you hit the hard brakes and it goes, that's what it feels like. Like I am right at at a brick wall. Like just seconds away from crashing into it head first. Then we have, it's just too much. Like I don't like right now I'm kind of emotionless, but in general when I wake up, you know, from just whatever sleep I can get, it's just more tears, more tears. And then it's overwhelming because I could be thinking about my husband, and then all of a sudden I'm thinking about my mother, and then I'm thinking, really? You know, you couldn't even let me have my mom. You couldn't let me have my dad. You couldn't let me have Henry. You know, you couldn't let us have children in this lifetime. But I'm kind of getting over that because I know we all sign contracts. Not many people believe that, but I'm not here to convince you. But we all sign contracts before we come to this lifetime, any lifetime. And it must have been set in stone that we wouldn't have kids this time because it's just too painful. You know, it's just too painful. And so until you have suffered a tremendous loss like this, I don't know what to say other than just stay in your lane. Don't pray for me. Don't pray for me. I return whatever you are sending. Like, just don't pray for me. You know, if whatever you believe in, and if someone was, um, basically doing an entire ritual for you, you wouldn't appreciate it. So, um, just don't pray for me because I don't want your energy when it comes from Juicy J, as they call him. But anyways, moving on to the physical pain, it takes a toll on the soul. It takes a toll on your meat suit, whatever you're walking around in. It takes a toll on that. And my body is getting more sensitive to light. Like right now, we're obviously in summer here in the Americas, and aka the States, California, and so I have the air on. But then when I have to turn the air off, like literally, and it's triple digits here, and the air touches my skin, and all I want to do is get on the covers to protect myself, from that. The last time that I went to the East Coast and the plane landed in Colorado, and I literally was the last person to get off the plane. And I remember the flight attendants saying, "Oh, she's from Palm Springs. She doesn't know anything about this." That's how they said it. And they were so kind. Like, I cannot emphasize that enough. Like, they actually gave me warm blankets. They transported me to from the plane to the door, and obviously excuse me, chowdies, what's the matter? They transported me from the plane to the door, and then obviously to the next gate. Like, I mean, they usually don't give those blankets out, especially those warm ones, to passengers not flying first class. But United Airways, which I think is now called American Airlines, like I said, they were so kind and generous, and they didn't have to do that, but they did. But when that door flew open, it was like getting stabbed with thousands of icicles. It was so cold, like piercing cold, and my body was going into shock. So, and I just thought maybe, oh, it's just because it's so cold here, it'll be okay. Well, that was back in 2019, I think. And we're in 2023, and it just the sensitivity is just like, really, you know. So, um, I think that's about it. I have an appointment a little later today, and I will say this in regards to my mother. And, I don't have a problem with saying it because I would say it to your face if I was there. If you wasn't my mother's friend while she was in the physical, don't show up now acting like, you guys were friends because it, no, absolutely the fuck not. And they streamed, my mother's service, and this lady stood up and she says, "Yeah, Rebecca and I, were friends, and we were friends instantly. The moment we met, we just became friends." And I was like, I never seen this lady, never met this lady, never heard of this lady. And I immediately said, I know you fucking lied. Because I've never seen you, never heard you. My mother never spoke of you. But okay, if that's your truth, then, you keep going. And that was the first thing that I asked my sister. Who is this lady? She goes, oh, yeah, I'm not going to say her name because I don't want to, come off harsh or anything. But come to find out, they were friends in high school. And not just that, they were friends uh, for quite some time. Like my oldest sister, she remembers her, and she remembers them going over to her house, like when she was a little girl. I was like, okay, if it's true, it's true. But I've never heard of this woman, like never. And come to find out, like I said, they were friends. So but I've never seen so many fake people in a place that's supposed to be sacred. It's just the lies are being told. My mother's side of the family, they were, they came down from up north, and, I knew they were, there for my mom, but the rest, distance is bliss. It's, it's shocking. It's devastating, to know that, my mother is on the other side now. She is defined as dead. It's like my husband, but they're more alive on the spiritual side than anything else. You know, um, that I do know. And my husband, he never left me the entire time he was here. So why would he start doing that just because he transitioned? You know, you can believe whatever you want to believe. But if your spouse truly loves you or your mother truly loves you, what makes you think that they're going to leave you just because, they no longer have the breath in their lungs? They're not going to leave you, you know. And it's not just them, it's all of our ancestors. They're never going to stray from you. They're always going to be there for you. And that does bring me some comfort, but it's not enough. I see my husband's face everywhere, and I feel his love, even if I'm in the kitchen and I'm standing in front of the sink. Like, we used to call that, the watering hole, like elephants. You know how they go to the watering hole, and he would stand there, and he would fill up like his water, and I would just stand there beside him, and he would say, "Tiff, I'm just filling up water. You don't have to hug me." Like, I know. And I would lay on his shoulder, and I miss us so badly. Like, if there was another option, then I would take it. because I miss him tremendously. And I cannot emphasize that enough. And I notice some people, they get upset and they don't want to talk about it. Then I think you shouldn't bring it up if you don't want to hear me still talk about my husband. Because I don't know what to tell you, you know, I'm always going to talk about it. I'm not going to get remarried. I'm not going to date. There's plenty of people who are like their spouse has been unalive and they're doing just fine. They're not going to do the year and a day thing. Like, oh, I waited a year and a day so I can go get remarried. It's going to be 2 years and couple more months. And it's, I don't get a prize for this. I don't get a prize because it's been 2 years. My prize is him. And like I said, I just miss us. I just miss the inside jokes and like sometimes like because he was the one, that worked and I stayed home. Like he had an actual physical job to go to, and I would take care of the little things around the house. Like, I'll put the trash and the recycling on the curb so it can get picked up the next day. Sometimes, I would lean in the car, when he would pull into the driveway. I would say, you looking for a good time? How much are you paying? Like, things like that. And he would just turn like he would get goosebumps. And I just think that that's so funny. And and then sometimes, if I just want to just put it on the curb really quickly and get back inside because it's hot, he would say, he would be sitting in his car and he would say, you looking for a good time? Because, I got about 15 minutes before my wife gets home. Which I just still think is so funny because, that's the type of relationship we had. That's the type of friendship we had. And that does not come around again in the same lifetime. If my husband told me today, spiritually, it's okay, Tiff. I don't want to see you miserable. And, you can go ahead and, find someone else so you can have a companionship. And I would say, what? You must want me really miserable because no one can fill that void. Absolutely no one. Like the bar is so high you can't even see it. You can't even see it. When I met my husband, I was coming out of my first marriage, and the marriage was technically over after a year, but we legally stayed married for 5. And like that man almost broke me, like literally almost broke me financially and emotionally. Like he had me feeling like, you know, that I was worthless. He had me feeling like no one will ever want me, no one would ever care, etc., etc., etc. And when I met Henry, I met him playing a game, and I'll never forget that because that was back when in the AOL days when those chat rooms would be like jam packed like a can of sardines. It was just jam packed. It was like thousands of people in a room, and we were all playing the game, and we found each other in that large, massive crowd. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Like maybe an entire football stadium. Every seat is filled. And then the actual field is filled. Like it's just like a bag of popcorn. It's just so many people. And we found each other in that. And that was in the summer of 2001. Like, I believe our story is beautiful. And I believe that it should be told, you know? So, like I said, we found each other. And I will never forget it. We talked on the phone the first time that we met. It was 8 hours. 8 hours of talking. And we never stopped talking until the day he left, you know. And I tried everything, you know, when the doctors were calling me from the hospital, and I tried everything. Like, I just kept saying, look, I need you to save him. I need you to, make him better, and I'll help him when he comes home. And, we were preparing for him to come home. And, my family and that's here, and we were preparing for that. And the hospital just kept calling, kept calling, kept calling. Like, they kept calling for authorization to do this, that, or the other, and just the images in my head, just the images in my head would just it could drive anybody insane. And I was getting to the point that I didn't want to answer the phone anymore, but Henry was calling, so I had to answer. As soon as it said, Desert Regional, Medical Center, I had to answer it regardless. And I would be so nervous. And I remember he called me, for the last time. And I said, hi, boo. How are you? And he was like, Tiff, listen, it's not going to be much longer. And I said, what do you mean? I said, you're just going to be there maybe a couple more nights. And he says, no, it's not going to be much longer. I said, what are you talking about? The last thing he said was, he said, I love you, boo. And I said, I know, but I don't want to talk about this. And that conversation, he says, okay, I'll let you go. And I said, no. I said, no. I said, don't go. And that was pretty much the end of the call. And the hospital kept calling, kept calling. And I had to put him on life support. I never felt so alone in my life. And I'm making all these decisions by myself. It's hard because that's your loved one, that's your husband, that's your wife, that's your child. Even though you may have had an agreement when you were both coherent. And my husband, he never wanted to be on life support. And we talked about this. We talked about, when I say everything, we talked about everything. And I said, Henry, I told him, whatever happens, don't let them put that mask on my face. Don't let them put any tubes on me. He said, it's okay, boo. I know what you want. I said, okay. And he said the same thing. But when it's the person that you love, the person that puts life in you, I said, yes. I said, yes, do what you need to do to save him. I think he was on life support maybe 2 days. Next thing you know, the hospital kept calling because they were doing everything that they could they were preparing to transport him. But when she said that they had already cracked his chest, I said, no, don't hurt him anymore. That was one of the nurses. The next thing you know, I'm gonna go now. And I hung the phone up, and the hospital called again. It was a doctor. And he said something like, he apologizes for, the stress that I'm going through. He says, Mrs. Martinez, would you like for me to put the phone to his ear? I said, no. I said, no. It's too late for that. He said, he asked if I was coming down. I said, no. Because if I see him, I'm going to want you to fix him. And you can't. I tell you, my heart aches. My soul aches. I can't even call your mom. I will call her. I know I have people that love me back. I know. But it's not enough. It's just not enough. I still remember trying to get my mom on the phone that day. Because I never told her that he was in the hospital. I just didn't want her to be worried or stressed. And I called my grandmother. And I said, Grandmother, where's my mother? I can't reach her. And she said, what's wrong? I said, my husband just died. She says, you're making me very sad right now. And I said, I know. But I need to talk to my mom. Because my mom would tell you, I've always been the same. I've never asked for much, and whatever you give me is more than enough, and I will be grateful for it. My grandmother says, well, I can't call her if you're on the phone. And I said, okay, because I kept trying her cell, and she didn't answer. So it was a few minutes later, and my mom called. She said, what happened? I said, my husband died today. She just broke down like, it's like 2012 all over again. I said, I know, and I'm so sorry I have to call. So you can only imagine how it feels to lose the only person that has loved you back, despite any flaws, despite what other people may see in you. And you can only imagine how it feels, to lose your mother or somebody that's, that's been there for you. This is what my days are like and my nights. I depend upon my ancestors to surround me and to keep me safe and to give me the strength to do what I need to do. I call upon my husband so he may sit with me and be with me, and that I can feel his love. I call upon my mother to shield me from anything, for any more hurt. And ask all the deities to stand tall, to keep me safe and away from the fake people on this planet, the ones that fill the void through the matrix. If it wasn't for the fur kids, I would not be here today. I made a video or post, I think it was a video about our home, and that is going to be, given away. And I'm working on my DNR papers, and because this is just a fun fact for those who don't know how a DNR truly works. You could have a DNR in place. But someone could challenge that DNR and say, no, that's my sister, that's my cousin, that's my blah, 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 and next thing you know, you're put on life support. That's where all those unnecessary court procedures are put in place. And there's another paper or another form that you gotta fill out that no one can challenge that, and that's what I'm working on right now. But I've already nominated my proxy to make sure what I need takes place and that no one ever puts me on any type of ventilator, because you're bringing me back to nothing. And I love my cousins. I love my favorite aunt, but at the same time, when it's time to go, it's time to rock and roll. It's time to be out, because I miss my husband too much. Absolutely too much. And my mother. But at the same time, I'm trying to, make my home a super positive experience. And it's still going to be surrounded with Tiffany and Henry and Tiffany, etc., etc., etc. Because I feel his love. I feel his sense of humor. I feel it all. So, anyways, I didn't really talk too much about the autoimmune disorders that are weighing me down, that's beating me down, but the grief alone is enough. So you just imagine having the grief, and then imagine having health issues. If I'm not getting beat up by the loss of my mother, the loss of my husband Henry, I'm getting beat up, by basically, my body attacking itself. And I mean, this isn't anything new. When I had social media, I would often share, what I was going through, and it wasn't for like likes or anything like that. It was to be supportive of other people that are going through it, and they're not talking about it. Not everyone wants to be vocal about their health issues, and I understand that. But I was doing all that. Like I had an endometriosis uh, album that, I was encouraged to start a blog. I used to talk about the fibromyalgia, the chronic pain, the intractable pain, uh, the severe spinal. It was initially it was spinal stenosis, but it has now elevated to severe spinal stenosis, uh, the lumbar scoliosis, yes. Uh, what else? The migraines, they're getting to be excessive. What else? And there's other health issues that I never even spoke about on social media for the fact, like I said, people generally don't care. But if you made it to the end of this video and you are dealing with some type of grief, or you feel like there will be a loss in your family, like there's nothing to make the situation better. Like I stated before, there's no prize at the end of this. I mean, if I can ever get that peace of mind feeling, then okay, that's the prize, that peace of mind. But I meant like a physical prize. Uh, the way I feel, it kind of feels like I'm anxious. Like the first year, Henry and I dated because we met online, and um, the goal was that I would fly out to see him, and in a year, and that's what happened. I flew out here, and it was just like peanut butter and jelly. They just go together like like chocolate and peanut butter, and like I still can remember how his skin felt. How we hold hands. I keep seeing that little freckle that was on his finger, and I just those things. You know, and the other day we were experiencing. That makes me laugh. Uh, the aftermath of uh, Hurricane Hillary, and but for us that was normal. Like we don't, whenever it rains, it drizzles or it is excessive, and then mix that with the normal high winds here. Like the winds can reach up to maybe 120 miles per hour. It just all depends, and mix that with the blowing sand, for the desert. That's pretty much normal for this area. And but when it was raining, it just reminded me, it was like a trigger, that us laying in bed on a rainy day when it doesn't rain that much here, so that's why it sticks out. And there's nothing anyone can tell me, to make this situation more, you know, bearable. There's nothing, and there's nothing anybody could say. Nothing. And a local friend or uh, whatever, she had said, well, you should go to grief counseling because your story may help someone. You think I give a damn about that? Like, no. If they're in a grief circle, that means they're already going through what I'm going through, and I can't offer them anything. I literally can't offer them anything positive, nothing, unless they want to start saving in silver and gold. Other than that, I don't know what to tell them. Like, my boat is going down just like your boat is going down. And I don't know what else to tell you, but that is not what I'm interested in. You know, I'm interested in, uh, you know, the things I need to do for Tiffany, and that's it, because no one's looking after me in this physical. I have to do it myself. I have to do it by myself, and I, I am the ashes. I am the ashes from, you know how you have a fire and it's just about burnt out, but you see one or two pieces of shiny, like coal, whatever you want to call it. That's what it feels like. And I'm trying to rise up from that. But that's the story of my life. Having to rise up from this, that, or the other. And this is just, it's whatever, but I'm doing what I can. But my prize isn't Henry, you know. Well, I guess it's going. I'm going to see him regardless. I guess I could say, because either way, he is my prize. He is my prize. Okay, I'm going to try to sleep a little bit. I think. Because I have an appointment a little later today, and so I'm trying to make my home a little more accessible for me, and to make it so that I can remain independent. That's the goal. And I'm so grateful to have the fur kids. Like, I'm just so grateful to have them. Luna, well, it's Chowder and Luna Bear. Those are the only two I have. You know, my oldest, like I said, Magic. She transitioned, and of course she had to transition uh, right in my arms. Like, anyways, you guys have an amazing day ahead. Make sure you hug your loved ones and you tell them that you love them in real time, and go see them as much as you can. Spend as much quality time as you can with your family. It don't have to be anything extravagant. It can just simply just be hanging out. And don't wait till a holiday, to get together, because that day may never come. That's my truth to you. My husband and I spent pretty much every minute and second together, with the exception for him going to work and those type things. But we were together, and we didn't need other people to make us happy. We had each other, and but anyways, this is a very long video. It wasn't supposed to be this long, but my days are long, yet short. Okay, you guys take care. And gratitude for listening if you actually did stick around for the entire video.